Hello ladies and gentlemen, here's another story time or whatever, IRL Creepypastas, and today I'm going to be talking about something that might be more related to the channel than what I normally talk about. Of course, these are unscripted, and you can complain about that all you want. So with that being said, why don't we delve into the Creepypasta community as a whole? The Creepypasta community, it's a odd place. It's a in-between community. It's not quite as big as the Brony fandom or the Sonic fandom, yet it's not quite so small anymore. Back in the early depths of 2008 to 2011, the Creepypasta community was a relatively niche thing, the biggest channel on there being barely 40,000 subscribers, and that honor actually went to Mr. Creepypasta himself. But now, the Creepypasta community as a whole is a lot bigger. Mr. Creepypasta's sub numbers at about, 800,000 now? And as such, the community has grown to a level that is, at least comparable to some other fandoms. And because of this, we all have those end is nigh people. All the time when I go on Twitter, I see people who are supposedly big figures in the fandom complain that there are no good stories out, that the fandom is dying, and that all you people are just terrible people who listen to, what are the equivalent of terrible ghost stories for kids. Which I don't agree with at all. But they do have a point. The community is actually toxic to a certain level, at least when it comes to creators. Because there's nothing worse in the Creepypasta community than most of the lower level narrators. And when I say lower level, I don't mean, oh my god, they're absolutely terrible people. I mean people who run channels, and whether their quality is good or not, simply can't get their sub numbers or their view numbers up, despite how much promotion they may receive from someone like Mr. Creepypasta, or me, or anyone. But a lot of the smaller narrators are actually having a bit of a crisis right now. You see, there's something called the Creepypasta Narrators chat on Skype, and I usually invite anyone who comes to me claiming to be a narrator and all that. But due to its non-exclusivity thing, there's a lot of people in there who can be considered very toxic people. And I'm going to tell you a few stories about some of my experiences within that chat. Why don't we start off with the first one, and that is when I first joined a chat and I showed people my YouTube channel. At this time, I had 5,000 YouTube channels and, oh my god, 5,000, I had 5,000 YouTube subscribers, and I had maybe 4 or 5 videos up at the time. This is before the Ronald McDonald House, and this was before really anything. It was really just some stories that I did with NDL and 1999, my first take of it. And those videos were absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, but when people asked me in the chat to share them, basically show them my channel, because that's something they did apparently, a lot of people were odd. You see, when someone goes into the narrator's chat and is like, oh look, I got 300 subscribers, everyone there, or at least the more commonly known active people there, will commonly be like, oh, that is great, sweet, I'll sub to your channel and all that. But when I shared my stuff, it was more of a dead silence, the entire chat went dead, and I was unsure what the hell was going on. So, later that day, I got a message from a person known as CatAttack123. You may have actually remembered him, but when I first started my channel, he did some attacking, and I'll get into that later. CatAttack123 was a creepypasta narrator who is quite infamous among the community. When I first joined the chat under, guidance of my friend Rasta, the warning I was given is, don't talk to CatAttack, and I soon learned why. He messages me, I add him up as a friend, and he's like, hey, I want to join Tat's Top Videos. I heard that you're, a part of them. I'm like, yeah, I am, I guess, but let me see your channel. So I look at his channel, and I notice that he barely uploads. He hasn't put anything up in at least, 2 months. And his voice acting, while it's not bad, it's just at the time we had way too many narrators and way too few scriptwriters. So at the time I was like, yeah, I can't do anything for you right now, buddy, but maybe when something opens up, I'll consider it, you know? Because I was in this position where I was good friends with Tats, but I mean, it's not like I could just sit there, drag someone in, and then just make them instantly YouTube famous. That's not quite how it works. So Cat Attack, I suppose at the time, had an overreaction. From what I remember, he started yelling at me in text chat, basically claiming that I thought that I was above him, I was way too big, and I didn't deserve anything I had, and this and that, and I just simply removed him, and that was that. And then that night, I met up with a few other narrators. I think it was Baby, Creepypasta, and a few others, and we started playing some Minecraft. We went into random servers, played Hunger Games. It was a relatively fun time until I actually got into the chat, and I saw that Cat Attack was talking shit about me, telling everyone how bad I was and how big of a terrible person. I should mention that this entire story takes over the span of a week. Well, my good friend Rasa was a moderator in the group, and he simply banned him for a day, and that was that. The next day, I wake up after playing Minecraft and having a relatively fun time. I wake up, and the chat seems to be in a bustle again. Apparently, people are talking about how I was botting my YouTube channel, and I was artificially increasing my subscriber and view numbers in order to make myself seem cool and hip like all the young children. And I thought that was just a very asinine statement, as I've never botted anything, and I barely knew how to use Sony Vegas at the time, let yet a program that was, well, designed to artificially increase sub and view numbers. It just didn't seem to make any sense to me. But alas, I gave in, and I started talking to some of the people who were spreading this around. I was like, yo, baby, as in Baby Creepypasta, what's going on here? And she's like, well, I heard it from this guy, who heard it from a friend, who heard it from a friend. And I went down to the chain of friends, and I soon realized that the entire rumor was started by a YouTube channel, which I believe is now dead, called Andy Does Voiceover, or Savian Creepypasta Reads, or at the time. I contacted him, and he's like, and I'm like, dude, why are you telling people I'm botting my YouTube channel? Everyone thinks I'm a huge dick right now, and everyone's saying I'm so full of myself because I shared a fucking link in the chat, and, you know, everyone's starting to hate me. And he's like, well, the only logical way you could have gotten that amount of subs in a month is by botting. I'm going like, dude, I told you and everyone in chat who I was before I came here. I was a scriptwriter for Tats, and Tats helped promote my channel heavily when I first started it. Yes, if he didn't help me start it, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. But that doesn't mean I didn't put effort and work into getting where I am today. That doesn't mean I didn't sit here for hours on end recording stories, putting blood, sweat, and tears, and hurting my voice to a point where I just couldn't talk for a couple of days because I spent 8 hours reading a 30-minute story. And he didn't really have any apologies. He's like, oh, well, that makes sense, but, you know, it just seemed like that. I'm going like, yeah, don't spread this shit as if it's truth. As a new content creator in the Creepypasta community at the time, I was actually already quite large for a Creepypasta channel. And a lot of people in the community seem to have insecurity issues, as a lot of people who've been narrating in that community have been narrating for a couple of years, maybe. They've been into Creepypasta since the beginning, and because of that, they started YouTube channels, and their YouTube channels just simply didn't go anywhere. And when I did go somewhere, that started a lot of animosity and hate towards me. And don't get me wrong, at the time, I was an idiot. I am not completely faultless in this matter, because I was kind of new to being a YouTuber. I was this 16-year-old kid who came into this community, and I was like, damn, this is so cool. Man, I mean, I have no idea what is going on. I mean, I've never had a YouTube channel with subscribers before. I mean, I helped with Tats, and Tats is a good friend of mine, but it wasn't my channel, and I couldn't treat it as my channel. Here I am with my own channel that is getting all these views, and I had no one to tell about it because, again, I didn't have any real-life friends, and I still really don't have many, if any, real-life friends. So I kind of just told anybody who would be willing to listen, and because of that, I seemed like a big show-off, as if I was bragging, as opposed to just being excited for the fact that I just in this crazy thing known as YouTube. And because of that, I did get the title show-off, but a lot of the people who are calling me that are not people whom I've talked to personally. These are a lot of people who basically heard me talk in a Skype chat and then assumed that I was a devil or hacking or increasing my sub numbers or just someone who simply didn't deserve the subs. I've heard people in the chat simply say, man, he does not deserve 60,000 views on a video. Such a piece of shit, and stuff like that. What I'm trying to say is that the content creation community is a tad toxic. The writers themselves are relatively good people, and a lot of them allow us to narrate their stories without having to pay them. Now, I'm not going to sit here and fault Slimebeast for not letting me narrate his stories, or at least not letting me narrate them without that, as it's his full right to deny me access to that. And because of that, I'm honestly okay. But there's a lot of content creators, i.e. narrators, who want to be on the level that me, Mr. Creepypasta, and a lot of other people are at, and just don't know how to get there. And trust me, I do have a lot more I want to tell you. But yeah, the Creepypasta community in the creation area, at least when it comes to narrations, is just toxic as hell. Simply because people aren't comfortable with where they are at and don't like where they're going. Now, with that being said, you guys might be thinking, what about that thing that Cat Attack was doing to attack you? Like, yeah, he did attack me in the narrator chat, and yeah, he did do this and that, but he did a lot more than that. You see, he actually, I don't know if he actually made a video or not, but he went on Facebook, because this is around the time when I was first starting, and I didn't have a good computer. All I had was this very old, what was it, Sony Vaio, which, if you know Sony, they're not making Sony Vaios anymore. That's how bad they were. But I had this very old Sony Vaio. It was dying. It had terrible RAM. It had a, like, AMD piece of shit lodged into the computer. And basically, the computer was not running anymore. I couldn't use headphones, which means I couldn't properly audio level my earlier videos. I couldn't, what is it? The thing would take up to 3 to 4 days to render a video. 1999 took 6 days to render the original video. And a lot of my other videos simply took anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to 8 to 12 hours. And because of that, I knew that my computer was dying. So I made a video at the time saying, hey, I'm doing a donation drive. Basically, my computer's dying. I won't be able to create content if my computer dies. I don't want to make an ultimatum here, but unless I can get enough donation money to at least help show interest in getting a new computer, I would not be able to make any more videos. At least till I could afford a new computer on my own. And that doesn't mean you have to give me money and do this and that. I'm just saying, if you want to help out the channel, that's what is going on right now. And anyone who donates, I believe $30 if they're United States, $60 if they're European, I would be willing to have them a custom-made t-shirt, whether that be Tats Tops videos, which I did have permission from Tats to sell, or it be my own logo and I simply sign it. And I could make it whatever color they wanted. I could, have it signed. I could not have it signed. I could have it shipped fairly easily, and that would be the thing. Cat Attack 123 didn't like me at this point and assumed that I was conning everyone. So he makes a Facebook post about me, posts my video, and tells his friends to flag me. That day, my video that was supposed to be for a donation drive to help a content creator continue creating work got flagged for terrorism. And I had to fight it through my own network here. And I had to let my YouTube network know that I wasn't a terrorist, and I had them see the original video. They emailed YouTube, and eventually it was taken off. But I got flagged for terrorism on my donation video because some jackass didn't like the fact that I was getting donations to help me continue creating content. The video went from 500 likes, 6,000 views, and like 0 dislikes to 300 dislikes and 500 likes in less than a day because of this person. And on top of that, he went around the entire community telling everyone that I was hacking people, that I was attacking, and that I was just a generally terrible person, and that I was just scamming my fans out of money. And he didn't believe me. No one believed me. They all thought that, I was scamming my fans. So what I had to do was show people the invoices I got for ordering the t-shirts. And all in all, I made around $800 to $700 off of donations that month for the computer. And I used that to buy my Republic of Gamers Asus laptop. And I used that to edit up till very recently, where I replaced it with an Alienware. The Alienware was bought with my own money. Well, at least it was bought with a mixture of Patreon money and my own paycheck. In fact, I'm actually still paying that off. But yeah, the Asus, it was a nightmare. And being in that community as a content creator, as in a narrator, and getting popular that quickly got me into a lot of shit. And to this day, I still get a lot of shit. A lot of people, hate me in this community simply because of things I did in the past. For example, I'm gonna fully disclose here. I made a video about Creepypasta's Patreon because I didn't like the way it was produced. It sounded very sad, it had sad music playing, and it had a time loop of a sunset playing in the background. And it just seemed as if he wasn't, trying to make... It did seem like he was trying to say, look, this is what the money's going to be used for, and, if you want to help out, you can. It seemed more like, I need money, and all of this. It still seems like that if you watch the video, and a lot of it still is in question to me today. But I don't think I don't hate Creepypasta, and I made a video. It was very vulgar, and because of me being a complete idiot, I actually lost quite a few friends. I made this video, and I basically said, be careful who you support. Please look into the facts before you support somebody. And if you are going to support him, just be aware of what exactly you're supporting. And you know what? He probably is using the money, and he probably is using it for the purposes he said he is. And it was unfair of me to actually call him out. But because of that, I don't talk to Mr. Creepypasta anymore, and I don't talk to anyone. In fact, Miss Shadow Lovely, I think, and I quote, said that I'm done in this community. I'm nothing but a piece of shit. And she had the most vulgar reaction to that video. But within a day, I removed the video, and I removed it because I simply felt that I was being a bit too harsh without knowing all the facts. And because of that, I am genuinely sorry to Creepypasta, because I was being a dickbag. And here I am complaining about dickbags, but in the past, I've done my own dickbaggy things, and don't let people tell you otherwise, because I'm a bad person. I always say it. But yeah, the Creepypasta community is a little toxic, but why don't we look on the bright side here? The Creepypasta community produces stories daily. A lot of them are decent, or at least half decent, while there's quite a few that are just terrible. But just because there's a influx of stories means that there's twice as many good stories and there's twice as many bad stories. And people always look at the bad and say, oh, look at that, this is why the community's dying, but they don't tend to focus on the good stories. And there are so many that are being produced even to this day. And to those writers like Michael Whitehouse, and others, I don't remember the people's names, but Lisa Lynn and all these other people who make stories, they're fucking fantastic. And it should be recognized that even though their stories are creepypastas, this is some of the best free content that's being made. Whether you're just reading the story off the wiki or listening to one of mine or Mr. Creepypasta's videos, it goes to show you how much love and passion, blood, sweat, and tears have been put into this community. Whether that's on Mr. Creepypasta's end by help starting it, or on the writer's ends for providing stories to be narrated, or even people like me who are in between of being this huge YouTube famous person or just this, not so important person. I mean, honestly, this whole community is fantastic, and I love it. Quite frankly, I love it. I don't like it quite as much as the Brony community, and I love it a hell of a lot more than the Sonic community. But as a little niche community that produces content for people who just want to sit back, relax, turn the lights down, and listen to a story while maybe playing a game, I'd have to say this is one of the best communities to be in, and it's given me so much. As I said, people donated money to me so I can help continue making content like this. People are so fucking awesome when it comes to this, and it's unbelievable. So yeah. Now I might as well do one of those obligatory end cards. If you want to listen to a creepypasta, why don't you click on this one? If you want to hear maybe something like a crappypasta, where we take the worst of the worst and ruin your childhood one story at a time, well, maybe you could click on the right video. Or if you simply just want to see this channel and, maybe you like this channel, come to it a lot, but maybe you haven't clicked that subscribe button to let me know how much you love my sexy voice, well, maybe you can click on the subscribe button. Either way, whatever you do, it's fine with me. Also, if you want to directly support the show, you can always go to patreon.com. I'm not saying you have to. If you want to donate anywhere from maybe $5 to $10, it will really help me out. And I only charge you once a month because I'm not a scumbag. Except for when I am. God damn it!